We're here at the Max Mandel Golf Course Golf Committee meeting. We had not reached quorum, but we will be just discussing in this session any progress that has been done. Since we don't have quorum, we cannot vote on any items or anything of that nature. So we can go ahead and start. You want to open it up? Go ahead.
Okay, that's, I guess we don't probably.
Because we don't have quorum. We don't have quorum.
Yeah, do you want to, you just want to list who's present?
Yes, sir.
And,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Okay.
That's just for the record as well. Okay. Bruno Slate,
Right.
Here.
Mr. Rick Garza,
I'm here.
Luis Pellegrin, Mr. Gary Jacobs,
Present.
Ricardo Contreras, Luis Gutierrez, Fernando Rodriguez,
Here.
and Rogelio Soto. Okay? Thank you all, Mr. Chair and Mr. Vice Chair. We don't have a quorum, but as you said, we're gonna go ahead and discuss reports and any items that we wanna bring up for next meeting as well, so. Okay, staff reports, I'll let me, where's Mitch at? Let me go ahead and introduce Mr. Mitch Harrell, the Vice President for Patroon, and I'll let him go ahead and take it from here so he can introduce Mr. Cabrera, and then we'll go into the other ones in order. Okay, go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, members of the golf committee, city staff. Thank you for all your help, and apologize for missing the last meeting. I wanted to be here in person, but we got past all that, so everything's good. Got some things going on at the golf course. Obviously, we took over management on October 1st, and Robbie Kearney, who's with us today here at the meeting, has been on site as the temporary GM for most of that time. He and I were kind of going back and forth and tandeming until I got the dreaded COVID, and so Robbie's been here a lot lately and helped out with getting things moving in the right direction. We've still got, obviously lots and lots to do, but things are definitely going in the right direction. Payroll's been taken care of the last 3 pay periods, and everybody's getting paid, and we're getting everybody trained up on how to use the system, and so all of that is working really well. We're also in the middle of working through some accounting things with Mark DeMay and the city, and we've got another meeting next week with Mark to discuss some of the things that we're going to do, and just for this committee's information, the city the city procurement process is difficult when you're dealing with an operating business. But we have set up accounts for liquor and food and things like that, and then all of the other accounts where we order merchandise or fertilizer and chemicals for the golf course, or things, or parts and things for the machinery will be under Troon, and then we'll do a reimbursement process with the city. So we're going to talk with Mark and the team about that next week. So we should have everything worked out fairly shortly. We've got, as you all know, I'm going to move to golf operations. As you all know, we've got a great team of young folks out there that are doing a really good job, and we're excited to help train them to get them better from a service level. But they've all got service hearts, and so this is going to make it easy for us, and especially the gentleman that I'm going to introduce here in a few minutes to move that staff up a couple of notches and things like that. So we're really happy with the team that's there. John and the team in the golf maintenance have been doing a great job of getting the things done that we discussed at the last meeting, and we've got grass. We're going to be putting on all of the putting greens by the weekend. So that is all going really well. We're making some minor changes here and there. We're working on the golf shop. We're working on obviously the golf course, and we'll get into systems and processes as we go along, and start making those changes as we go along. Sales and marketing, we got, we've got access, or getting access to the Max domain. And so we're working on creating emails for the staff and the facility. We've got access to the Facebook business manager, and we're working on some things with social media. And there's been a few social media posts, and I think that was what somebody was referring to earlier. They've seen pictures of the golf course, so they saw it on social media, and then they're saying, "Well, I don't believe that. I'm going to go." that didn't look like that 2 weeks ago. So, and then we've also started creating collateral for upcoming events for Valentine's Day, Daylight Savings, Black Friday, and we're working on the business plan or sales and marketing plan for 2024 right now. Let's see, I think we got access to all the logos. We've had a few little problems with getting logos that we can, work on and try to get to the correct size and getting them in the right format. But we'll have all those here in the next week or two. Lightspeed is the point of sale system that we're using right now, and we're looking into that, whether that's the right system going forward, whether we can save some money by using another system, if Lightspeed does all the things that we need it to do, because as a company we don't use that very often. We've got it at a few properties but not very often, so we'll see where we get on that. Food and beverage, Carlos Acosta, who's our corporate director of food and beverage, was here a couple of weeks ago, late October, and did an initial assessment of what's going on in the clubhouse and food and beverage, and is taking a look at menus. Carlos will probably be back shortly after Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. He'll be back out to meet with Jeremiah and talk about the things that we need to do on food and beverage going forward, and all of that. I'll let John go through the maintenance bullet points or anything that he wants to bring up and talking about the golf course. But so overall, we're still doing a bunch of testing. Want to make sure that whatever we decide to do going forward is the right thing to do, whether soil amendments or things like that will help the greens. But we're trying to source. We've gotten some of the tests back. We've got a few more tests that need to get returned, and should see those in the next week or two. Just so you know, the big concern obviously is the greens, and so we need to get those fixed. And obviously what we've done today is only going to last until the middle of April, but it'll give us some runway so that we can understand if there are structural problems, soil problems, water problems, anything that we need to address before we put the base grass back in. So we'll kind of go through a period next spring. I just want everybody to be prepared for this. We'll go through a period of next spring where we have to take out the existing ryegrass that's there and Poa trivialis. We have to take all that out, and then we'll have to replant the Bermuda base that is supposed to be there. So there will be a period, next year where we'll have 60 days, give or take, maybe 90, where there will be some issues, and we'll have to do some different things. So John.
And how do you normally handle that, Mitch? Do you close down one side and do the other? Do you shut everything down?
To start, but I mean, you need a good 60 to 90 days to grow it all in, whether it's sod or whether we end up doing sprigs, and we'll address that at a future meeting once we understand what the turf science is. We'll address, okay, here's what we think we ought to do. Here are the options, just like you and I talked last time about options. Here's what we're going to do, or here's what we think is the best route, and here's what the options are. So, but we'll bring that here in the next meeting or two. Okay. And then we'll have a good, sort of calendar plan of when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it.
Right.
We'll more than likely we can. It'd be easy enough to do temporaries, just like we've been doing and continuing play.
And I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody. I'm sorry once we come up with a plan and then put the calendar up for everybody to see that this is what's going on, guys, since January, let's say.
Yeah.
April, there's going to be a transition. May, so that we can let everybody know that this is what the plan is. Our communication is essence of the essence for everyone.
Yep.
And we don't get the calls, you don't get the calls, and and that way we all know that. I think we all agree with that as
Or
well.
tournaments.
Right.
Yeah, the tournaments is gonna be,
That's the tournament season.
for people that are coming in, so you know that there was a huge problem before on people coming in from out of town with no, let's say it's set up a tea time, and they get here, but there's a tournament going on. So they have to turn back, and that was just like the biggest gut punch,
Right.
on that. So I think that's gonna be, yeah, like JJ was saying, key to let them know exactly everything that's going on, because it was a showcase course there for 7 years, coming on Texas Monthly as being one of the top-rated municipal courses, and people from all over were coming over here, and then all of a sudden, they'd get there and they couldn't play, and it was just embarrassing.
Right.
So I'm hoping that this will take care of that.
Well, communication is definitely important.
Yep.
Yep.
John, why don't you talk about what's going on in the golf course, and I'll follow up after that.
Yeah, we've covered the overseeding. It'll be up, and we'll be playing on it Saturday for the tournament. They should be open tomorrow afternoon for everybody to play. We did, prior to the overseeding, we did a soil sample and pulled water sample from the irrigation. Both of those came back acceptable for growing grass. I mean, there's no, I guess there was a problem. We thought there was some stuff coming in with the water, but everything seems to be
So the
good.
water river
It's
is
good.
okay?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's no silt.
That's very good. That's very good news.
Yep.
Very good.
Soil sample, grade pH is around 7, which is good for Bermuda. It's a little high, but it's in the acceptable range. There's an Istrix test that we're waiting on, which is pretty much a really intensive test about the soil, how it perks, how it, the pressures it can take, what's the makeup. It's gonna take a little bit longer. We've probably got a couple more weeks to go before we get that back. And then we're gonna take another nematode sample, see if we're dealing with that, or see if we kind of took care of it for the time being. Because we did have nematode pressures early on. We treated for them, but you never get rid of them 100%. They'll stick their head back up.
John, let me jump in real quick. So what the ISTRIC test is going to tell us is how the water moves through the soil profile, what the soil profile looks like in the greens, and just helps you understand, okay, what do we need to do to that soil amendment-wise or whatever to help water move through the soil profile. So it's
Yeah, you're,
odd.
How much you want.
yeah, how it perks and all that. So what we're doing is gonna carry us probably April, May, as far as the overseeding. The other stuff we got planned this winter, a lot of bunker work. The big bunker on 12, we got the drainage already fixed. We're moving sand back in there, so it'll be back to the way it's supposed to be.
11.
Yeah, 11.
11,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
11, yeah.
Did I say 12?
Yeah, you said
I do
12.
that all the time. I'm sorry, on 11.
So you're saying you're gonna extend the sand up to the original level?
Yep.
That long,
Yep,
really?
yep. All the drainage fixed, it's not
So we're
holding.
halfway there already.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks night and day from 4 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. Having a little issue with the equipment, keeping
bad,
it
man.
going, but we're
Glad there wasn't quorum here.
running through that.
That's right in my draw.
We're gonna do a lot of tree trimming, gonna rent a grinder, grind all the stumps that are out there, so it's easier to operate, make it look a lot cleaner. Edge all the bunkers, edge all the cart paths, get everything straightened out. Gonna do a complete irrigation audit to get everything up and running and calibrated the way it's supposed to be, and kind of get it ready for everything we're doing in the winter. Is gonna get us ready for spring and summer.
Spring, summer.
Yeah. And then in spring, put out a pre-emergence all over the course, pre-emergent on the greens, so we don't have to deal with the weeds like we did
Yeah.
this past season. And that'll get us ready to cook this summer.
And, you know, I'd like to also just insert that, you know, John has been working, you know, hand in glove with Dustin Strickland, who's our regional agronomy professional that, and I'm sure Dustin and John probably talk more than I even know, but they're probably daily at least.
Yeah. Oh, he's a wealth of knowledge, so
He's
great.
He's a good one too. He's got a lot of experience in this area, and he'll be a good help.
Can you let me know if, I know that we spoke about this a while back, but in going through this, so that we can go by process of elimination of what everybody thought the problem was before, that way we can go by that process and say this was not the problem.
Yeah.
Because I know that, if, for instance, irrigation on number 3 and number 1, and all those that had those water, stagnant water in the front of the greens, and we had heard that it was because the underground drainage in there was plugged up and it was just causing all kinds of problems in there. But I mean, is that part of the audit that you're going to be looking at?
Yeah, the irrigation audit.
Yeah.
A lot of the problem is way the heads, when I first got here, like the puddles we were seeing.
Yeah.
Just the way the heads were set.
Oh.
Like, you know, some of them were, because around the green, you got 2 sets of heads. You got heads that water away from the green, and then you got heads that water the green. And they were all set
At the green.
at the green, yeah. So that was,
That eliminates, I mean, that was a
Yeah.
huge problem, because we heard at the beginning that it was, no, it's stagnated water, you know, that just stays there, but it was, you know, we couldn't figure out why. I mean, it was just not, it wasn't evaporating, you know?
You know, I was gonna also say that the ISTRIC test will tell us if there are any, you know, fines and settlement that are like coming out of the river that get into the green profile and shut things off. We don't think that. We're, you know,
Yep.
we want to test to see and make sure that we're, that.
yeah,
you
by
know,
testing the water, we didn't find anything, but then we test the Istrix test will kind of confirm
Yeah.
that or change
Good,
our mind.
good,
on it,
good,
yeah.
good.
In a
That's
scenario
excellent.
like that in front of 1 green, that could be a coverage issue. He's
Yeah.
gonna go through and look at all the heads. What's a 180 should be a 180, what's a 270 should be a 270 or 360. So you
Right.
could have an overlap between multiple heads that were
No
just
doubt,
causing
no
standing
doubt.
water in that area.
Yeah.
And
And now
so
we're gonna have,
he'll be able to go through that.
Some of those
if
puddles
they're-
we're
if
gonna
they're all
have.
full circles, they were overwatering the green.
Yeah.
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 Now there will be some puddles out there now because to get the rye seed up, we were having to water the green 3 or 4 times a day to keep it moist so it'll germinate quicker. But we've cut that way back now, so
Okay,
they should
good.
clear it up, yeah.
I'll send one of these to Gary, but if you turn to the next 3 pages on that, the page, 3, 4, 5, the first picture is like right after Robbie got here, I think.
First day.
And so that's, what was, is that 1?
6.
Oh, 6, okay.
Yeah.
And then the next 2 pictures are after they've been overseeded, and then, you know, so it looks better.
Yeah, no
That was the
doubt.
whole point.
No doubt.
I think that was the first of the,
First walk month.
first walk.
Yeah, first walk month 13.
That is excellent.
And
You know, basically, just on the pictures alone, if you guys can picture this, it's 2017, 18, 19, 2020 was like the worst of the worst, and you guys have been here a month. And that's, and I'm not gonna say that this is the end all of end all, because we still have to figure out whether it lasts or not. And to
Yeah.
confirm whether the soil samples and everything that you guys did.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you can send that to Mr. Jacobs, so that he can see the results of that, man, I think that'd make him very happy, just on 1 month's worth of work. That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm very happily listening to this. It's really nice to have a management company that knows what they're doing and shows up.
Gary, hold your thoughts until we get through a full year. I don't want accolades yet. Let's.
Well, we're talking about the operational part, not personality-wise yet.
Okay.
John, anything else? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I think that's it. Yeah, just coming out of spring, it's just what plan we come up with,
Right.
whether patching or some of the greens, I don't, going back with Tiftor or doing something more.
Right.
Yeah, with an ultra door.
Right.
Is it gonna be 100% of the greens, or you gonna look to see?
There's gonna be
how-
a spot on every green, yeah, because, in my opinion,
But, I mean, are you gonna redo the 100% of each
What-
green? Or?
that's what we gotta come up with, yeah.
So you gotta wait till, once you
This-
start seeing the grass
that's the-
dying, you're gonna see what's still alive. And
Yeah. But there's gonna be a spot on every green we're gonna have to touch. I mean, even if, I'm gonna say, the 3 or 4 greens that we had that looked great, 18,
18,
12, 10. We're working on one, it was still a little rough. Those maybe not so much, but touching every other green.
Yeah, I was, Bernal, I was gonna say that it, probably will bring options, and one of the options might be to resurface all the greens, maybe change the grass to like John said, an
Yeah.
ultra dwarf.
An ultra dwarf, that's something that's, science, like everything else, has improved.
Yeah.
And some of the turf products we got out there are beyond what Tiftorf is. Tiftorf was fantastic
It's a
when
good
it came out in the 80s, but it's been 30, 40 years.
I like Eagle better.
Yeah, Tip Eagle's better, that's an ultra
Absolutely.
dwarf, yeah.
But yeah, so we'll come up with a plan going forward, and one of the plans might be an option of resurfacing all the greens, and we'll give you an estimated cost on that, or the other plan might be, okay, well, we go back and we sod all of the areas that need sod, and that might be, that'll be a dollar figure, or we might come back and say, okay, and then another option would be that we sprig, takes a little longer to grow them in, but, could be a better surface, once you're ready to putt on it. So there's all those, and then again, whatever we need to react to from, good news about the soil tests is that they're not showing anything that's like, okay, here's a major problem, right?
Really?
Yeah.
So, hopefully the district tests are similar, and they're not showing a lot of settlement or fines or, silt from the river or things like that we were anticipating, because that's what Landscapes was pointing to, is that there was silt coming through the pump system and not settling in the pond. So hopefully that's not the case. We'll see.
On that report that you're going to come up with, well, after we do the recommendation for those greens, if during that time you guys are already going to be here about 3-4 months in there, one of the important things to note is their budget process starts, I believe, in June, July, in that area, and any wish list items that might be there for equipment. And that's a very important one, because it's gonna be wish list for equipment that we might be able to tap into and get into that budget process. The second part of that question would be whether or not, and I'll ask Tommy about this, if there's anything out there that you don't have right now that Parks and Recs has that you guys might be able to utilize, in order not to stop the process. We get momentum, we don't want to stop it, you want to continue going, and that cooperation would be great,
Well, we'll get John and Tomas hooked up, but one of the other things I was gonna mention is that we are looking at like a 5-year equipment plan.
Good.
We're working on that right now. That'll probably take another month or two to just vet out and make sure that we understand what we need and when we're gonna need it and how quickly. And, we'll get trade-in value from the existing equipment as well. So, but, we're gonna try to see if we can do it in small pieces over years, if that works, or again, we'll give you options. We'll say, well, look, we can buy a whole new equipment package right now, and this will last us five years, or before we have to start, moving equipment through. Or we could come back and say, another option would be we buy these 10 pieces and we, trade in these 10 pieces to, and to get the replacements, and then the next year we do 10 more pieces. So, I'll look for guidance from JJ and Tomas on that, as far as, what the best thing is for the city and for council and for funding and all that kind of stuff.
Good. Yeah, that makes a difference to anybody that's sitting over there when we get to see the long-term plans. And I know Tommy, I worked with Tommy before, and that's one of the things that I look forward to when you don't get that big ticket item that's a big hit right away. But if you see it over a period of time that you can add pennies here and pennies there to just level it off, that'd be good.
Unfortunately, almost all golf maintenance equipment is a big ticket item.
Yeah, well, I mean, but if you need, instead of needing four pieces of machinery and you need one, that works.
Yeah.
You know, instead of $5 million, you need the 500,000, right? You know, and every year from that point on.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And that, I think that's a real important point, the fact that in the future, we're not gonna have to take another big hit
Yeah.
in one particular
Right.
year.
Right.
That's one of the good things about a lease. You know what you're gonna pay every year
Yeah.
on it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that we haven't discussed with JJ or Tomas about, okay, you know, what's the city's preference, and would you rather lease, or would you rather buy, or, you know, things
Yeah.
like that. So we can come up with, and, you know, you can get fair market value leases where you own the equipment after you pay, you know, for 5 years, or you can get dollar buyout, that's a dollar buyout lease. So basically you lease it, but then you own it at the end.
Mhm.
Or you can do a fair market value where you only pay for the piece that you're using.
Right.
And that would be a recommendation from us probably on mowing equipment, is that mowing equipment tends to be changed more often, because the precision mowing equipment that we use, after, you know, 5 to 7 years, it's just not anywhere near as good as it should be, and you get a better cut if you can, you know, have a plan to change those out on a regular basis.
Great.
Yeah, you've got to life cycle manage specifically those pieces of equipment, like he said, because the cost of the ownership for year 6, year 7, you're putting more into it than what it's worth. So that's what that would be our recommendation.
Unfortunately, that's what we're doing with the existing fleet, is that we're having to put money into it because it was older to begin with.
Right, right.
And unfortunately, we were all handcuffed when we found out about, you know, what we needed to do with that, so.
But I agree, I think moving forward, we do need to hear different options.
Yeah.
So we can present that to the
Sure.
city, to the city council, so we can just be good stewards of the taxpayers' money.
Of course, of course. Let me introduce, for those of you who don't know, probably everybody in this room already knows Jeremiah Cabrera. We, you know, went through a process to search for the right GM, and I talked to a lot of people about Jeremiah and his way, and he and I have become quick friends, and I think we will be lifelong friends. And we are so happy to have his leadership and his just very comfortable way to move the Max forward. And we're excited to have him aboard. And like I said, everybody I talked to couldn't say enough good things about him. And we're excited for him to be there. And I know that he and I are going to work well together, and we're moving forward. So, Jeremiah, anything you want to throw in? You're awfully quiet over there.
No, just soaking it all in, just excited. I think it's an unbelievable piece of property, and we're extremely excited to showcase how good of a piece of property it is.
Jeremiah, this is Gary. Gary, sorry I couldn't be there, but welcome to the Max. We really look forward to working with you for many years.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to, actually excited to be here, and looking forward to catching up with you next time you're in town.
Thank you.
Technology-wise, I think I said a little bit of this earlier, we're evaluating the current system that we're using, the point-of-sale system, which is called Lightspeed. We, again, work with others, and I've talked to a few of the other companies. So this is that one is sort of a lower priority. It works well enough that we can use it for a while, and we'll see how it goes. If we decide that, look, this is probably not the right one, I'll come to you all and I'll present, okay, here's this one, and here's how much it costs us, and here's this one, and here's how much it costs us, but this one provides this much more, or whatever. But we're looking into that. We'll see where we get. I'm not that familiar with Lightspeed. I know that the reporting process right now is not what I want to see, and not what I think Jeremiah will want to see going forward. To understand how, what kind of changes and what kind of things we need to do to run the business. So, if you're managing a business, you need information that can help you manage that business better. I'm not sure Lightspeed has all that. We'll see. There are a couple other options that'll be, we pay a monthly fee to Lightspeed, okay? So let's say it's 900.
Yeah, it's just
950
under
a month.
1,000.
So we can get others for that price or better, that would do what we needed to do. So we'll see. We'll see. We're kind of working with the Lightspeed folks and trying to get some information from them. So I'll let y'all know on that when we get to the point. We will need to meet with the city technology team on Wi-Fi and internet solutions, making sure we have, excuse me, making sure we have exactly what we need, for both to do work there, and then for the guests that happen to be out there, and things like that. So we'll get to that. Again, not a huge priority based on everything else that's going on. So
Mitch, I'm sorry, before you go on, so we've been in contact with Mr. Jovia Rivera, which is our IT director. We actually ran into him. City Hall was yesterday when we were.
Yes, sir.
I don't remember the days. City Hall is my next home, home away from home. And did mention to him, and one of the main things that he's trying to work on, and this is the domain.
Yes.
I'm not a technology guy.
yeah.
Yes.
To who owns rights to the domain, and I think at the time Landscapes Unlimited had it, but he's saying that, well, that belongs really to the city.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So just yesterday afternoon, him and I came up with an email, and we reached out to Landscapes and said, this is what we need from you, and actually he typed it up. I just too many technology words in there.
Yeah.
He typed it up for me. I sent it to Landscapes on behalf of the city. This is what we need from you guys.
You need
Okay?
you just need a release from them.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
it.
After reading all that stuff, I think it's basically what it is. That's basically what
Please
it is.
release domain.
Yeah.
Please release
So
domain.
send us the password.
Yeah, right. And we have the rights to it. It's ours. Of
Yeah,
course, it
it
belongs to
sure
the
is.
city. So just yesterday afternoon, around 3 or 4 in the afternoon, somewhere in there, we just sent it out. I haven't checked my email today, but I will definitely stay on top of that until we can get that taken care of.
All right.
Once we're able to gain access to that domain, you'll be able to update and modify the website as needed. You communicate obviously with the calendar that we're talking about, with everything that's going to transpire in the spring. More importantly, we can get John, Jeremiah, and Eric and those guys set up with email addresses as well, whether it's the Max, whatever it is.
Right.
But once we can gain control of that, we'll have all that ability. And of course, market upcoming events. We can do flyers on. We got a sales and marketing team that can put flyers on there to promote the club and promote the events.
Right. Yes, sir. So I emailed them, and Joe is in that email. I didn't include you guys. It was just on behalf of the
I
city.
spoke to him on Monday, and he was saying he was 99% sure that they still
Yeah, that's
control
what he told me
access
yesterday.
to that domain.
That's what he told
And
me
you know
this.
what? When we were doing the transition, they were very forthcoming with everything that they had. And I don't understand if somebody may have that had all that information might have left Landscapes, or retired or went to another company or something, and nobody knows. Nobody at Landscapes that's existing knows what's going on. Because again, they've been very forthcoming with the information. They've been really comfortable to transition with. So
Very professional.
nobody's mad at them. But
Right.
there are those things
For
that
oversight.
that we couldn't get.
Right.
So
Right. So we reached out to him, we're gonna do it this way, and then we have to press the issue, and then we'll go and take a little step further. But we reached out to him yesterday afternoon. I have not checked today, they responded, but I will stay on top of that, okay?
awesome. Thanks, JJ. So I think that's about all I have, unless there are questions, comments, concerns, anything that we didn't cover that we should have.
Maybe two things maybe that we hadn't touched upon before. One big thing that's gonna happen that you're gonna see that I think I'm proud of, I think Bernal is proud of too. The birding season's coming up. You can get birders out there. Little by little, the city has adapted all over the Rio Grande. They have spots that they've designated to those areas.
February.
The max was gonna
It's
be.
February.
Oh, it's
In
February.
February.
Yeah, to be ready for them because they come from all over the world.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah. It's a huge birding community that comes in, and while people are playing golf, there was go out and see the course while people are playing golf. And
It's
it-
camera birding, that's nice.
That's good, that makes it a little bit easier, you can control the camera.
Don't think it's a shotgun start.
It's not, I'm not talking about dove season, that just
I was
ended.
gonna say, I saw a big old flock of white wings when I was driving in today.
They are coming in and out
Eating
of this
John's
whole
seed
area.
off of his
It's an
greens.
opportunity to rent them a golf cart.
Well, those people go out there and then they kind of interact, but I don't think there was any set rule about how to go about that before. And I'm not saying that they were getting in the way 100% of the time or anything.
Are there certain areas that they like to gravitate to? I mean, if there are things that we can do, if anybody's got some experience with that, if there's
Number one in
anything we can do to
15,
kinda
16.
help and-
Yeah, 15, this last spring, they were out in 15 and 16. They
Yeah, number 9 in that area. I mean, yeah,
So
number 9.
along the river,
Along the
everything
river,
along
yeah.
the river.
Yeah, I wonder if, if there's something we could do as far as like a paint application to cart paths that, have, where you like have a bird at every, and kind of rope some things off so that they stay out of the way of play or,
I
things
think,
like that.
that's why I wanted to mention, because I think it was kind of, it was a wait and see, learn as you go along situation before. And they weren't getting it necessarily in anybody's way, but I think we were getting in their way too, and they'd stay out there the whole day. It was very interesting. We met people there, and like I said, there's people from all over the world that come for this thing. I'm not familiar with what they're looking for,
Yeah,
but I
so
noticed that,
it's gotta be
I'd want to give,
something migratory, right?
well, I mean, because it's such a beautiful area.
Cranes or?
No, migratory birds,
Yeah,
but
migratory.
also, by Slaughter Park, I know that
Yeah, there's another one over
there's
there, yeah.
another area where it's very prevalent. But I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, obviously, if we can designate some observation areas and then tap into that, and I'm not sure how involved the city is on.
Actually, the CVB gets involved, and they have like a weekend that they invite all these birders, big weekend that they come and. I'm surprised they haven't reached out to me already.
We have several council members as well.
Yeah, that are big into that.
Involved in that.
But I know there's like a pamphlet with the different kinds of birds
Yeah,
that they're
yeah.
looking at.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's a good opportunity
Yeah.
where we can place inserts
Right.
on, what the expectations are, just to make sure that we keep everybody safe.
Right.
Designated observation areas.
There's a little section off of number 4 towards the back of that goes down.
Yeah.
Right when they were building it, remember
Yeah,
that connected?
that roadway.
That one would be, I mean, if they could find a way to, not necessarily clear out an area, but to set up a pad there for them or whatever. And that way they can concentrate on that, because you can see both sides of the river as close to the river
Right.
as possible. But, I mean, I want to tell you right now, because it's coming,
Yeah.
and it'd be better to say,
Let me,
yeah. Yes, go ahead, Gary.
Gary, just give me an observation. I think Mitch saying earlier in listening to this, it's really, the key word here is going to be communication. And, y'all, maybe Troon and Jeremiah work out the areas that y'all have talked about that are optimal observation areas. Everybody knows the rules, the staff knows the rules, everything. They'll be a little more disciplined, but then the birders can really accomplish their mission without us stepping on each other. I do want to mention that along the west fence, that is the fence parallel to 5 and to,
That's by your.
I guess, to 6th Green.
Or the Barbados Ranch.
So, right, but between where Bernal is and the course.
Oh, yeah.
So so there's an access there that the city, I don't think the golf course could do it, but the city could easily, for practically no money, just grade that so that there's a nice way for them to walk down to the river. And then there are big stands of mesquites down in the Vega there that hardly ever floods. It's really above the 100-year floodplain, and that's 35 acres of a park that we're going to give the city. We still own it, but they could go down there, no guns. They can all go down there and do their birding down there too. It's right on the river. In other words, there's
That's the one.
between Bernal and the land the city owns going downstream, there's 35 acres that the Mandel family owes the city that's never been deeded. I don't know why, but it'll get done. But just mentioning that you could set up a really nice area. They could do picnic tables down there. The clubhouse could cater it and charge them. You could make a really nice feature for them, and they wouldn't bother anybody on the golf course.
Right.
So
If you want to.
Your house is right adjacent to 5T box?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
they go to my
beautiful.
place and they go down there where Gary's saying.
Okay.
And then they go in vans. They have like, I don't know, like 12 seat vans, and they probably have about 10 of them. And they go all over Laredo, Zapata, different people's ranches.
Okay,
to go
well,
bird hunt.
so if you can put Jeremiah and I in touch with whoever that is,
Yeah, it's-
we'll help figure that out, sure.
It's the Rio Grande.
I think
With
so.
Trish?
Yes,
Is it with, probably
Yeah,
with Tricia?
Trish
Yes.
with the Rio Grande
Yes.
Conservation?
Yeah.
Mixed use property.
And Mitch, you could turn it into a real positive image-wise for Troon and for the city and for the golf course if somebody spent a little time on it to, kind of host them and kind of over the next couple of years create the spaces that they'll all want to come back to, and they'll all go home with a lot of very positive things to say about Troon and the golf course.
Get Bree Kenny down here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a long time since it opened up that people were mentioning how nice it would be to get that area cleaned up so that people can have accessibility and then, like they said, picnic tables and all that kind of stuff, because it's closest to the river and it's got some coverage from these really old mesquite out there, and it looks really, really nice. So yeah, it'd be a great idea to set that thing up.
we've got a environmental science biologist that works for the company. That would be a good, maybe we could get Bree down here for 3 or 4 days and have her kind of scout out the best spots. And also look at whatever Audubon stuff and things like that we need to.
She's fantastic. She actually worked for me, the environmental biologist in Wyoming, and helped us in achieving Audubon certification.
Oh, really?
7, 8 years ago.
Oh, my God.
She's
Oh.
since moved on to bigger, better things and reporting to me. But she would be a fantastic, and she would be.
Well, you should introduce her to Tricia Cortez and Melissa Cigarroa, who's on the city council, because they're very, very active and big advocates of, as am I, protection of the Rio Grande and natural habitat and kind of letting people enjoy it. But they would probably really enjoy meeting her, and they could work together and figure out.
And Jeremiah is coming to Scottsdale. Both of us are going to Scottsdale early December, just sort of a GM onboarding so he can meet the people that he's going to be working directly with in our office in Scottsdale and things like that. So while we're there, I'll arrange a meeting with Bree, and we'll get her to come out sometime in the near future and work on that. That's
Good
information.
Okay.
One quick question. I know Dr. King texted me to ask you all. Will you all be? Who's doing the social media? He was asking me. Are you all?
Thomas and Sean.
Yeah.
The post that Eric put on Instagram 48 hours ago, that was Eric from his computer. And Eric's more tech savvy than I am. He used the chat GPT and typed everything.
Okay. So like the Facebook and Instagram of the Max, somebody on staff is doing it.
Yes, sir.
You said Eric or
Yes, sir.
one of the. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so somebody on staff is here locally is doing the.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And we also need to get that letter out, Mitch. Remember, the one that we requested. I think I had approved it, and then I don't know if it was ever sent out. or
Waiting
not.
yesterday at about 1 o'clock. to
To
the press release.
Yeah.
The press release, yeah.
And then
It was picked up a couple of days ago
On
by
Monday.
Golf Industry
Yeah.
and a couple of other publications, but I don't know if Rob didn't send it to the Laredo Times or.
Jeremiah had contact information, so I think Thomas, and we'll double check.
Okay.
But I'm pretty,
And
Jeremiah responded.
yeah, maybe you can put it on the Facebook letter, in the Facebook as well, just with the letter that we
sent
always
a
have.
couple of pictures.
On
With-
LinkedIn,
yeah.
yesterday, Troon sent it out. LinkedIn, I saw it on Instagram on Troon's page. Trying to think where else, Twitter, I saw it.
Golf Industry picked
Strauss,
it up.
yeah, Golf Industry.
That was the only one I found.
Maybe it was NCGOA.
Yeah.
It just went out yesterday afternoon around 1 or 2
Okay.
o'clock.
Can we get it, maybe in your all's Facebook or website or Instagram?
Yeah.
We can put it out there?
Absolutely.
Please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That way Dr. King just texted me on that, if we can follow up with that.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. And anything else, gentlemen, that you would want to add for next week, for next month?
I do want to say something. I wanted to add, I know that we're talking about the birding community. Mr. Danny Perales is actually the leader in the Laredo group of the birding the community, and he is my wife's uncle. So we know him very, very well. I'll share contact information with you guys from him before we leave the meeting, and that way that gives us a step ahead, okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Tomas.
Rick, anything you want to discuss for?
One more item is we'll go over it later on once we get the social media stuff going on, because I'm not sure part of the contract that they have is going to include I know we touched upon it before, on the corporate golf plans.
Yeah.
Huh?
That was on my mind.
Yeah, what they were selling before here was 100 rounds for $3,000, let's say, and you could advertise on those tickets and that
Yeah,
type of thing.
they had your name, your business on the actual ticket, so it was like advertising
Oh, okay.
your company, and so it was a good write-off.
Interesting.
It was it was something that was supposed to
And I
have been
still
done
I still
before.
have a lot of coupons, because I haven't been using them because of the temporary greens, and I'm hoping we still will accept them.
Those will be on there, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what it is the idea was, back in the day, and I think it was a brilliant idea, but it was sort of to offset some of it, well, most of it. If done correctly, it could offset most of your operating cost. Because if you sell, it's 100 rounds for $3,000, right? You advertise on that ticket, and it's pretty much 100% deductible, because you'd be giving it to clients and has the advertising deal on it. And so we figured back in, and it wasn't my idea, but it was just part of landscape that they were doing it. I told them, man, you get 400 companies to do this, that's $1.2 billion up right there every year. And that'll satisfy your operating cost right there, and anything else is just gonna be. So I don't know that they even got close. I think maybe they sold, I remember, approaching La Posada, and they bought two deals, and they advertised in Texas Monthly, and they ran out of tickets in about 6-8 months. Bring your buddies, we'll take care of the golf and the meal.
But what's important is when you give somebody a ticket and they turn it into the golf course, it would be good to email that client, like the person that bought it, that, oh, so-and-so had a good time here. So you know that it's being used, and they will probably rebuy it. But, a hotel hands out the tickets, but they don't know if they're using them, so they don't have a feel for it.
Yeah, obviously it got purchased by the general manager or the sales and marketing person of the hotel, and they give it to the concierge, and nobody ever hears back.
Yes, we don't know.
And if we keep track of when we get them in and we say, hey, you're out of tickets.
Yeah.
Buy some more.
Well, I mean, because
these guests have, you write their name, who did it, and you say these guys had a good time here,
Yeah.
they came here, and they're gonna.
And Bertle, your tickets are still good.
And so that was the whole idea, that you can continue
tomorrow, then.
you can continue to do it on an annual basis and just renew those contracts, and then it'll just relieve and build up. And one of the biggest things, I guess, from my point of view, was to make this, and I really don't believe, especially with this course, everybody that I talk to, that courses aren't supposed to make money. And I totally against that. I think this course is a diamond that should make money. That was the attitude before, right? And the more self-sufficient we make it, the better standing we get with the community and with the council, and we don't have to be relying on anybody over downtown to tell us, what you're gonna need when you need to buy anything, right? So I think that was the whole idea.
Gary,
Yeah.
but I agree with you. It should make money. But before we market a new package like that, why don't we give June and Jeremiah a few months to
Yes.
really bring the course up, because a lot of people don't have such a good image or taste right now. And then if you do market something like that, or if Troon markets something like that, they should be the ones that do it, I guess. Don't forget the truck lines, because when I used to be out there all the time, I'd talk to truckers.
Yes.
They carried their clubs in their 18-wheeler tractors and loved playing the course. So, I don't know how many truck lines nationally are now based or semi-based in Laredo, but Laredo's definitely a big market for them. So there's probably 40 different truck lines.
Yep.
And they may like the idea of doing something like this as bonuses for their best drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the bigger
No doubt.
tournaments we had was a truck.
Oh my God,
Landstar,
Yeah,
They
that's
can sell a
it.
package like that to
Yes.
Landstar.
First couple of weeks I was there were 3 events that were all trucking firms, logistics firms that were doing tournaments, and they were all 144 players.
Yeah, the
They
point of
had,
contact with Landstar, he was in there having lunch yesterday.
Landstar was the guys that did it, and then they had the huge party at the Embassy Suites.
He was there having lunch yesterday at the club.
So, but that's what that's where they were supposed to concentrate on that. We had set up meetings with people. I mean, I don't have any, other than sticking my nose in there, but I was just going, hey man, you do 400 of these, and you can't tell me, because we used to see Gary's right, the 18-wheeler. I mean, the trucks would just park out there, and these guys are 2 guys that I played with are from Michigan. I got to stay overnight before I pick up a load for the next day, and they'd love it. But Koenig, Warner, these are the companies that asked some of their general managers if they'd be interested, and they'd say yes, and they were never contacted.
Yeah, there's
Well, and then
always a truck
Yeah.
once or twice a week.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
The other way for the course to make, I think, really generate a lot more revenue is if we could figure out how to get 8 bungalows out there, like on the east side of the end of the driving range, where right before the cattle guard there's a piece of land that we could put into a deal. If somebody would do that, I'm one who's really convinced that if people had a place, just a simple place, not a fancy place, to spend the night out there, you'd get a lot more play.
No doubt. No doubt. That was, they talked about that also. I mean, it's just that once you drive up there, the idea start flowing about everything because of the potential that.
Probably sell more liquor too.
Yeah, I mean, if people think because it's out there that it's not. There's a lot of things that are still close to it. I mean, for a guy like me, it's not. You have the truck traffic or whatever, but it's never been a deterrent to anybody. People were coming out.
Yeah, right.
It's never been a deterrent. People are dying to get out there. They just want a really nice.
Let me do it this way. Having spent too much time in San Antonio for family health care reasons, I'd much rather drive the Mines Road truck traffic at peak traffic than anything on Loop 1604.
That's true.
No doubt. But that's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the keys. But as we move along, we'll talk about that.
Hey Gary, I was going to offer to bring your package back and go through San Antonio, but I don't think I will because I don't want to go through San Antonio. You meet me at La Cantera, I'll get to you there.
They have nothing else. They have no parking spaces out there.
Yeah.
RV.
Yeah. Bring my package back. I'll go pick it up tomorrow.
And some barbecue.
How about for Christmas events? You have anything going on in the month of December?
Keller Williams?
Two parties. The Keller Williams had a
They,
question mark
they
on
confirmed
them. Did they
yesterday with
confirm?
Eric.
Okay.
We have a wedding on the 2nd, which is a Saturday.
And then the Keller Williams is like
mid-month.
the week of the 12th
Mid-month.
or 15th.
But no other outside events.
I just got a phone call from City Hall. That's why I stepped out. I'll talk to you after the meeting about Border Patrol wants to have a big event upstairs on Tuesday, December the 6th, I think it is. But I'll talk to you guys here in just a minute, just to get some information, give you some information on.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay.
Just check your staff, make sure everybody checks that.
Yeah, and I didn't address much of the food and beverage because we're still kind of scratching our heads and working on, okay, how should we do this? What does it look like when it's right? Those kind of things. So we'll get there on that as well. And we know that there's a big opportunity for, catering events. The upstairs banquet space is maybe one of the best views in the Laredo area. So, we will work on that as well. It's like we got a lot of big rocks we got to get in the bucket first.
And we spent the last couple of weeks just motivating the staff, and even Jeremiah's leadership yesterday in the last 18 hours he's had to spend with them, just getting them ready, letting them know you guys are going to be busy. As soon as the doors open, I mean, the word's already out there. People have already driven out there to play rounds of golf, automatically assuming that we were open and playing on the greens yesterday and today.
Yeah, there
we
was
had
a guy
multiple
that, there was a guy
got
that
caught
was
in the
crying
storm.
today because
Yeah.
we were gone too.
But you're gonna go from playing 4, 5, 6 rounds a day. You're gonna drive rounds significantly out there.
I just canceled my 1:30.
So try
I canceled it. I said, no, I'm not gonna go today, man. I'll
So
go
trying to
tomorrow.
mentally prepare the staff about what's to lie ahead, and then Jeremiah with his leadership yesterday, he's like, when you get busy, here's what we're gonna do. And, how does the service levels look at the golf shop? And meanwhile, while you're still executing, a high level of service in the restaurant as well. It's just getting those guys ready and in the right mindset to be busy, which is gonna be fantastic.
All right.
Busy cures all ills.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I know, normally we don't meet in December. I don't know if you all want to meet, do you want to wait till January? It's up to you guys.
I'd set it up anyway, just, and then get.
I'll set it up, and I do want to tell you, we have a couple of members that are not responding to my emails, they're not responding to my phone calls, and I
Let
need
me,
help in getting that.
Give me the names of those, and I'll put in a call to those guys. Are you in or are you out?
Talk to Gloria,
That's what
we need to kick them
Yeah,
off.
yeah. I think it's rude. Who wouldn't want to pick up a phone call from you,
Please let me know, I'm
That's the
busy,
person
I
that
have
won't do
something, and then I can.
Yeah, no, because we need to, especially now during this
Yeah, now it's gonna
transition,
get-
we're gonna need as
yeah.
many people here as possible because we don't want, like I said, once we get momentum on this thing, man, I'm the type, I just don't want to stop. I want to keep it going.
Right.
So, yeah, I would set it up again,
Yeah.
maybe early on in December, the 10th, 8th, 9th, in that area.
Second Thursday of December, or what is it, a month from now? Más o
It's
menos?
the third Thursday that you guys meet, right?
Yes, but that
it's
gets
not gonna be
to,
possible,
that'll
so
be
we're gonna
late.
move it
Right
to
before
forward
Christmas.
to
Right.
the second.
yeah, the second Thursday is gonna
The
be,
second Thursday?
The second Thursday is the 14th.
Oh.
I will not be able to be here on the 14th. I have an opening in Houston that I have to be at, so I will not be able to be here on the 14th. I could probably participate by phone.
okay, you guys, and I'll leave that up to you guys. If you can't get anybody to go during that time, maybe even a week earlier than that,
That's the 7th.
The
That's the
seventh.
7th.
That's only 3 weeks away from now.
Yeah, and see where we
Since
stand.
it was no quorum today,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
the seventh?
Yeah, yeah.
Would-
Either one of those dates works for me.
Seventh?
Either one of those dates is okay with me.
Jeremiah,
I'm basically available till the 22nd of December.
Great. That's just so that we can close out the deal with a quorum, the year with a quorum, and make sure that all this stuff that we
Yeah.
just talked about right now, we leave it with a nice clean bow for 2023 and move forward for 24.
hopefully we'll have a little bit more
Yeah,
information
agree.
on the science of the greens and things like that by that time as well.
Excellent, excellent.
If you can bring brisket, bring tamales brisket.
Order the tamales now. That's hard to get tamales around Christmas.
One
plenty of pigs
one
on
thing
that
you could
side.
consider,
Go ahead, Gary.
if you think you could get the attendance, the December meeting you could do at the clubhouse, maybe.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
Everybody
Yeah,
would
we
say
can, we
yes.
can meet at the clubhouse if we, if that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Love for everybody to come out, and, you know, I don't know if we maybe kind of go back and forth next year with every other meeting, have one here and then one out there.
That's fine.
Yep.
I mean, I know this is probably more convenient for everybody as far as getting here on, you know, at lunchtime and things like that, but, you know, if you ever want us to host out at the clubhouse, we can do that in a heartbeat.
Well, let's set up December's meeting for the,
Yeah, I'd say yes.
The clubhouse.
I'd say yes.
And I did tell JJ that I said, give me a little time and we'll figure this whole food thing out. I went to Rudy's twice in a row, but I didn't get to eat it last time, so.
All right,
All
everybody.
right, thank you, everyone.
Well, thanks, everybody. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Have a
Mr.
nice
Jacobs.
Thanksgiving.